And David, this sex abuse scandal has set off an earthquake in the world of USA women's gymnastics.
The former U.S. Olympics gymnastics coach who was charged today with 24 felonies, including sex assault and human trafficking. And then late today, we learned that that coach has died by suicide, his body found in a rest area.
A former Olympics gymnastics coach accused of sex crimes and human trafficking just took his own life moments ago. He was supposed to surrender today. The 63-year-old John Geddert had ties, that is, to former sports doctor Larry Nassar, who's spending decades in prison for sexually assaulting gymnasts.
John Geddert was hit with 24 charges this morning, many for the human trafficking of minors.
At the same time, I filed a suit against the Vatican. It was a lawsuit on behalf of 44 women who were abused, run by the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth. It was the only successful lawsuit, and to this day is the only successful sexual abuse lawsuit against a Catholic orphanage in America. And I am very most proud of that result. And why I mention that and why that's important is because I thought I had seen all the ugliness that the world had to demonstrate and show. But the abuse perpetrated by these nuns, one case was far uglier than all 250 victims of the pre-sex abuse cases. The terror, the meanness, the ugliness that was foisted on these children who could not escape, couldn't go home, even to cry themselves into their own pillow at night. They were captives in a world of the darkest, most ugly part of humanity. And nothing in my career touches the impact that those 44 cases have had on me. Yes.
I find these things that I hadn't looked at since I wrote them. And I'm noticing, like, wow, I was really in a messed up kind of place. Like things that were very dark, suicidal, almost as if I was like writing down prayers.
For a long time, Joseph Caramano kept this box closed, shoved into a dresser drawer. This year, he returned to these journal entries from high school, finding traces of his encounters with a Catholic priest.
Psychological killer, sexual predator who imposes ashes on the forehead of his helpless victim. Ashes contain fingerprints. Ashes are a fetish symbol. Turning.
His is the compassionate public face of the Catholic Church. But today, Cardinal Vincent Nichols faced calls for his resignation after a scathing report blamed him for failing to tackle decades of abuse. The report highlighted 3 of the worst offenders: priests who repeatedly abused children, but whose crimes were covered up by the church for many years. Today, he told me he was humbled by their report and wanted to say sorry. You are the leader of the Catholic Church in this country, and yet this report says that your personal failings, your personal lack of responsibility, and it talks about you not showing compassion. That's an appalling catalogue for somebody who's head of the Catholic Church.
Yes, and I'm very aware of those phrases, and actually those phrases refer in the main body of the report to the way I was handling 2 cases, just 2 out of hundreds.
What appears to be being said in the heart of this report is that you and others in the church have valued the reputation of the Catholic Church over and above the suffering of these children.
I believe there are failings on our part, failings. It was slow, and it was slow for reasons, but that's not the point. I think we've got there, and I think we've done a good job.
But it is the point to a lot of people that you were dragging your feet, that you appeared not to realise how
insidious, how damaging this whole thing was to the church and to the victims. They're the most important people.